Reddit, what's a weird habit of yours you didn't think was weird until someone mentioned it? Shared a hotel with a buddy during a trip and he told me I sleep like I'm embalmed, arms crossed, on my back, stiff as a board. I do the same thing but sleep on my stomach. I call it reverse coffin. I sniff every cup before I use it. Don't know why. Burrowing in my sleep as well. I have to have my head covered for me to be comfortable. Didn't think it was weird until a college roommate pointed out that he always could tell when I was going to sleep because I just put my pillow or my covers over my head beforehand. I've had people come into my room when I'm asleep and thought nobody was there, so I guess it's a nice defense mechanism against predators. Interesting. I wonder if your cup sniffing is the advanced version of an animal checking to make sure a drinking source is clean before drinking from it. Eating kiwi fruit with its skin until I saw my friends eating without its skin, then I turned on the incognito mode and searched how to eat kiwi. I had a friend who would eat the entire kiwi, skin included, by fitting it entirely inside his mouth, chewing, and swallowing, in about 5 seconds. He'd sometimes take kiwis to eat in class and we were all bewildered. If I bump an object into a wall or a table etc., I say ouch for that object. Not sure when I began doing it and obviously I know my toothbrush didn't feel pain when I hit the faucet with its head, but I can't stop myself from saying ouch on the toothbrush's behalf. I apologize to my car whenever it takes a nasty bump, like a pothole or whatever. I pat the center of the steering wheel like oh baby I'm sorry, and then rub the dashboard soothingly to make sure it knows I didn't mean to. It's doing a good job, and that everything is okay. I sometimes use my tongue like a CD slot when eating chips. Didn't even realize I was doing this until my friend suddenly burst out laughing while we were hanging out. I do that too. It's just the best way to consume chips. When I was 12, I used to suck in and bite the insides of my cheeks. A teacher at school saw it and copied me as a joke. I saw how stupid it looked and never did it since. I did that too. Still do. Don't think I'll ever stop, end up stopping. One of my favorite snacks growing up was cold canned green beans. My mom would just open the can and hand me a fork. I continued eating them like that until my sophomore year of university when my roommates just stared at me and pointed out how strange it was. I just thought that was the only way to eat green beans. There was a wine in a pairing I had out at dinner that I could not finish because it tasted exactly like drinking from a freshly opened can of green beans. So while I was appalled by your answer at first, you'll be happy to know that your dream wine is out there somewhere. I think it was called Bruner or Gruner or something, but I am not one of those people who you should trust about wine. I consume everything quickly. I never really gave it any thought until I was having dinner with a friend and he told me I ate like someone that just got out of prison or boot camp. I drink everything quickly, and I drink a lot. Me and my buddy both love milk and lemonade. One summer he was moving, so he stayed at my house for a month and my mom screamed at us because we would drink an entire gallon of milk in 2 days tops and a 12-pack of lemonade in an hour. One day I was taking a shower with my wife and I discover that she washes her underpants in the shower and uses the newly washed underpants as sponge to help to clean her body. I said WTF and she said that her mom taught her to do that. And just like that I found that females on her family have this weird shower tradition. I crap nude. Also rarely use public toilets. My ex-boyfriend could only crap nude. Literally the only way he could crap. I feel vulnerable and scared if I try to crap nude, lol. I shake milk jugs before pouring a glass or over cereal. I was raised on a dairy farm, so it was necessary with fresh milk. Was about 30 before someone asked why and I had to think for a minute before I realized I didn't need to with store-bought milk. Anytime I hear something mundane doing a rhythm or tone, like a coin falling, or someone coughing, I just repeat it whistling. It makes everyone laugh now. I do that too, but I don't whistle. I just kind of do some weird dance to the beat, I guess. My girlfriend thought it was weird how often I change the volume while watching TV. I never thought it was weird, but then I realized that I get it from my dad. I do this too. A lot of shows have crazy volume changes, loud butt music and then a whispering serious conversation, lol. It's hard to keep up with them. I talk to every animal I meet. See in French, my first language. I don't know why I do this, but someone pointed it out when I met their new dog for the first time. In a group conversation, I sometimes stay silent for literally 30 minutes and start talking again like nothing. Realized with quarantine, where I suddenly talk and people get surprised I was still in the voice chat after 30 minutes of not even a word. I have a problem where I just can't interrupt people talking, and also, when they interrupt me, I just instantly stop talking. This can be nice because I don't come across as rude even though I like to talk a lot. But in group conversations, I'm basically always silent because there is always someone talking, obviously. Whenever I touch or bump something, especially on accident, I feel like I have to repeat that action on the same spot on the other half of my body. Now it's getting to the point where my brain just does it without consulting me first, and it's gotten me some weird looks comments. Crap, I thought this was just me. I don't do it much anymore, but as a kid if I got an itch on my right knee and scratched it, I'd have to scratch the same spot on my left knee or it wasn't fair. One day, my husband raised his arm to put around me while I was sitting on the couch and I instantly flinched away from him. My brother-in-law was shocked and instantly thought that my husband might be hitting me when nobody was around. We laughed it off because he would never do such a thing. He responded with, "She does it every time. I'm just used to it by now." I didn't even realize that I did it. Mind you, I did come from an abusive childhood, so my reflexes are a little defensive. He also pointed out that I am super jumpy and even the lightest of noises make me do a little freak out. When I was a kid I used to scratch my head so much that I would have bald spots. It wasn't itchy or anything. It just felt like something I needed to do. I'm an adult now and I stopped, but I have no idea why I used to do that. When I started sleeping with my lady friend she told me I have night terrors. I never knew as I don't often remember my dreams. I can shimmy my glasses from the tip of my nose to the bridge using only face muscles. Everyone thought I had a weird twitch. I like to think I'm just efficient. I do this but unconsciously. I only notice when people ask me if I'm okay, because I was making weird faces. I'm so used to my glasses my brain just repositions them without me noticing. I sneak up and scare people, unintentionally. I've been given the nickname Ninja Nate because I move in and out of rooms without being detected. I close doors quietly. I don't hum, whistle, single, or generally talk when I walk through the house. And I walk so silently that no one can hear my footsteps. This has led to repeatedly scaring people who don't hear me coming, especially when they suddenly turn around or I ask them a question with their back turned to me. I try to get into people's line of sight before approaching them, but inevitably, I will give someone a fright because they didn't see or hear me approaching. Sorry to all my friends and roommates that I've surprised over the years. It's something I've picked during my childhood to avoid being seen or heard because I don't want a verbally abusive parent to shout at me for doing something wrong like waking up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water. Ninja Nate is one cool of a nickname. I pick at my lips when I'm stressed out. I've done it since I was a kid so my mom always gets mad when she catches me doing it. LOL. I try to use chapstick to break the habit, but I always end up doing it without even realizing. Like if I'm watching a suspenseful movie or texting someone about something urgent anxiety inducing. I used to do a similar thing where I put my finger on one part of my hair and turned the hair around repeatedly, making it twist and curl. My mom freaked out one day when hair seemed to thin out in those parts of my head, giving me a Maleficent style widow's peak. My voice. When I was working in research, a few of us happened to be chatting with a speech pathologist. Someone suggested that he analyze our speech. When he got to me, he kept asking if I was sick or had allergies that day. Turns out my voice is naturally hyponasal. It sounds like my nose is stuffy all the time. I don't mind it, it's just my voice, but I didn't know anything was unusual about it until that moment. When I'm about to drink something I always stick my tongue out a bit. I didn't know I did it until a friend pointed it out. I also sometimes unconsciously stop breathing and when I realize it it's difficult to start breathing again. My cousin woke me up in the middle of the night because she stopped hearing me breathing. I think that it comes from my really bad memory. The breathing thing is called sleep apnea, has the potential to be deadly, and you need to get that checked out. When I was a kid, I learned that if you say the ABCs while you hold your Oreo in milk, it's the perfect softness, crispiness, and doesn't completely fall apart in the milk. To this day, I will whisper the ABCs under my breath. I did this once in front of my ex and he stopped. He stared at me horrified and asked me why I was chanting at my Oreos. I guess he couldn't quite hear what I was whispering to my Oreos and was freaked out that I had some evil Oreo ritual or something. You need to stop doing this. Every time you do it summons an alien ship to abduct one of our cows. Not my habit, but in high school I had a very dear friend who would throw his phone behind his back, up in the air, and catch it when it fell over his shoulder, without fail, every single time. It scared the crap out of me, considering my clumsy old self would definitely have dropped it. He would also randomly deeply inhale with his thumbs at his nose, and also when we'd eat together, whether it had been at my house or at school. He would save exactly one bite of each item on his plate tray until the end of his meal and then eat those bites. I miss him so much, but we went down different paths and don't talk much anymore. He was the coolest dude I knew. Go to save the perfect bite for last. I'm guessing he left the parts he deemed best tasting for the last bite, because I do something similar. When someone sneezes I have to say bless you. Even if I hear a sneeze in a public place and I'm not near the person and I know they won't hear it, I still whisper it under my breath. I kinda knew it was weird but my boyfriend pointed it out when we were out to dinner and I was whispering bless you. Guess he thought it was creepy. My mum does this but she is not discreet about it at all. She was in Sainsbury's a while back. Someone sneezed on the other side of the store and she straight up yelled bless you across the store. Asking permission to go to the toilet. If I'm in someone's house that I'm not used to being in, I'll ask can I use your bathroom or something like that. One day someone decided it would be funny to say no and that's when my mates found out that I won't go if they say no. I'll just sit back down. I tap the lid of the can 3 times before I open it when I drink Coke, beer etc. I have no idea why I do it or even that I was doing it until I was at a ring dunk and someone handed me a beer and I tapped it and got asked about the habit. They assumed it was for luck so I went with that instead of me being a weirdo. I know people who do that because it stops the drink from spurting out when opened. You probably have seen people do this and copied it without thinking. I eat too fast. I can finish the same amount of food my wife eats in half the time it takes her. Others have pointed this out too. I don't think it's weird, but it helped me finish my food quicker while in basic training. Me too. Was never in basic training, but I always finished my food faster than my family and friends. And when I try to be mindful of eating slowly, I still eat fast. I pace a lot. Sometimes I just have to take 5-10 minutes and pop some music in and walk. My sister and her husband stayed over with my family over the holidays and I guess they saw me doing it. They made fun of me for it, like just sort of joking. Not anything too harsh, but I genuinely can't help it. I get very anxious if I can't do it. I don't even need someone to mention it to know it's weird. I talk to myself, but like a conversation with myself. More like a conversation with an imaginary audience. Explaining stuff to people, it helps me fully understanding it. So my inner wrists are eerily sensitive in a good feeling way, so I touch them a lot to soothe myself. Significant others always touch them too because they know how much I like it. Never thought it was weird until I realized nobody else understands the sensation I'm talking about. Plenty of people have thought it was weird lol. I would never let somebody touch my wrist, not on my watch. I have really bad memory. I pick up something and set it down for 1 second to do something else quick and never remember my original goal. I have to make countless notes, alarms, and Google Calendar events and reminders just to survive. Yet for some reason I have a habit of remembering exact times that only lasts for that day until I sleep and forget those too. Never even noticed or knew until my boyfriend went, "How did you sleep?" and I said, "God awful." I woke up at 5:14 am to a stomachache and feel asleep around 5:46. Woke up again at 8:04 because it was hot and then woke up the last time at 11:27. It surprised me that he was surprised. Sometimes I do it subconsciously, but I definitely do it knowingly too. Suspicious things might happen in the night and I'm like cool, so if cops show up tomorrow I'll know that at 2:39 am I heard a suspicious pop that could have been a gun and make the effort to stamp that exact time in my brain for days. I pick on the skin around my nails and also the skin on my feet. I was first peeling dead skin and now I can't stop peeling skin off my feet or hands. Same. In extreme conditions it's called dermatillomania. I constantly pick at the skin around my fingers and toes, I pick at scabs, I pop pimples, I dig up ingrown hairs, bite skin off my lips and inside my cheeks. Anything that's not supposed to be on my skin I can't manage to leave alone. Someone will say something to me like at the end of a work shift and I won't respond until the next time I see them and then they've forgotten about the comment they said just because it took me a few hours to process what they meant. For example, co-worker and I were talking about the gym and I said yeah you're just as thin and she replied no, I'm round and it took me the next day to tell her she wasn't round SMH. I need to be distracted while eating. If I don't look at my phone or PC screen, even when really hungry I will be unable to finish even a small amount of food I have on my plate because I will feel full and then get hungry again after 5 minutes. While distracted I eat slowly, in my own pace and then don't get hungry again for hours. I noticed it at my aunt's place once when dad told me to stop looking at my phone while having dinner. In the end I ate half of a chicken breast and felt sick, the same way you feel after overeating. I talk to myself. Not just simple words, but full-blown converse. This all started with just simple converse in my head, but after a while it unconsciously evolved to me talking out loud. My mother thinks that I need therapy because she's worried that I'd end up talking to some demon and attempt to kill people. Lucifer has entered the chat. Apparently I talk too loud. My hearing is rather poor so I never really noticed, and most of my clients are seniors so if anything they're asking me to speak louder. It was only a couple of years ago that a friend mentioned that his partner at the time was scared because of how loud and deep my voice was. My whole life I was unknowingly yelling at friends and strangers. Talking to cats on the street. I look at a cat and just meowed, like seeing an old friend. Sometimes they meow back and voila, we have a conversation. My friends think I'm weird for meowing at cats while they talk to their pets in their native tongue. Cats don't speak human language, so why should I talk to them with mine? Remembering random things people tell me about themselves, I began to realize it was creepy after people reacting badly to it. I thought I was the only one that would look for the biggest clipping after clipping my nails and bend between my fingers until I saw George Carlin joke about it. But do you chew it is the real question. I talk to my dog and say his replies with a different voice back to me all the time, or if someone else talks to him I will answer the question for him. Me, who's a good boy, me and my dog voice, me. Blowing really hard out my nose when I'm stressed. I only realized people don't do that when I started getting weird looks from classmates. I love eating spaghetti just with butter. I'm not thinking that's weird anymore BTW. The Italians have a name for this, spaghetti al burro. Often there's some cheese involved, but not necessarily. Some of them do that too. I love spaghetti and butter. I add a little garlic salt. Nail biting, leg shaking, spacing out, looking left and right constantly. My mom pointed it out to me the other day. She explained that those are all anxious habits. Also excessive body cracking. If it can crack I'll crack it. Also an anxious habit. Same in my case, it's also lip biting, scratching or shortness of breath. This also has another reason. I'm often not aware of it till someone points it out or I snap out of my thoughts. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.